Barnaby Joyce will be or is joining us right now. Barnaby Joyce, good to see you. Congratulations. You are still the member for New England.
What?
You say that you're not. You say that you're not sad about.
Congratulations, you lost your job.
Well, you say you're not sad about it. I imagine you're not all that
No,
thrilled.
I'm not. Oh, look, actually, it's not that bad. I mean, I am really happy with basically what we achieved. I was happy holding every seat. That was important. So when I look around the room and see all the guys and girls there, I think that's a great outcome. I'm really happy with that, and I understand politics. As soon as you sign your pre-selection form, you understand how politics works. And I had an incredible honour. I was the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia. What an incredible honour that was. Yeah,
certainly. And I mean, you point out that you won all the Nat seats. You had 3 retiring members. You got an extra Senate spot back, but you still couldn't hang on to the job. I mean, you understand politics. It seems a little bit unfair.
Yeah, but that's life. You know, no point crying in your beer. Just move on.
Well, how do you move on? I mean, do you expect to have a ministry? Like, what do you do from here?
Well, that's in the lap of the leadership. We'll see where that ends up, and I'll leave that up to them. But you know, I love my New England. I love my home, and it's going to be great to be able to spend more time there and to be able to get around, because when you're Deputy Prime Minister, you've got a lot of things that take you down to Canberra, very necessary things. So I think it's really important. The issues, especially around defence of this nation, are incredibly important. And I genuinely wish the Labor government all the very best with that. I'm actually very happy that they've got a majority in their own right. That's incredibly important, because you're going to really need, this nation's going to have to make some really tough decisions. And some of them are not going to be popular decisions, but they're going to have to be made to keep us safe. And so I'm glad that they don't have to go bargaining with independents, which would be chaos.
When you look at your career, Barnaby, you haven't always had the greatest impact as leader. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, sometimes you've been able to affect change more from the backbench or in the Senate. You know, you were given that Maverick tag under the Howard government. So what is this new era of Barnaby, if you like?
I don't know. We'll see what comes our way. Yeah, in the past, I was really happy. I remember fighting against the carbon tax when I basically was the only one there fighting against it. But then in the end, it changed the Labor Party leadership, and they were in the government. So yeah, you can do a lot of really good things from the backbench if you focus and come forward with cogent arguments. What I am excited about is I think Australia does have to move towards nuclear energy. I think that's incredibly important. We really have already. We're getting ourselves nuclear submarines, so it shouldn't be such a quantum leap. We do have a nuclear reactor. It's bang smack in the middle of Sydney, and no one seems to worry about it. So we should be moving towards small modular reactors. We should actually be making them and exporting that technology. If you want to be a smart country, then find something that's really clever and hard to do, such as making small modular reactors that are air modulated rather than graphite modulated, and start exporting not only uranium, which we obviously think is morally appropriate, but also the technology to use it safely with it.
I mean, the coalition, the Liberals and the Nats aren't quite on the same page when it comes to energy and climate change and how to get to net zero, or when. With this nuclear component that you're talking about, do you think that would, be a détente, would end the nuclear war, the energy wars?
Well, let's hope it doesn't end the nuclear wars. Look, I think that's what's really important is you've got to have baseload power that's constant. Otherwise, you can see what's happening to power prices now. They're going through the roof. I think that with there's too much intermittent power and the inability to replace coal-fired power stations with something that is reliable, baseload and continuous, and that should say to us that we've got to really strongly consider nuclear. Otherwise, you're going to have to build some massive pump hydros. I don't think we've really built one yet. And they take an awful long time, and they're also incredibly expensive building pump hydro. So, and once you add that to the cost of your renewables such as wind towers or solar, it makes that power also very dear.
There's been a lot of talk about this election result and also the Nationals' so-called responsibility to the Liberal seats in the inner city. How do you see that?
I just see that as wallowing. It's ridiculous. I mean, my job, on behalf of the party was to win national seats, and I did that. And to say, oh, well, the reason I lost my seat in the middle of a city was, that person way over there, well, that just says that you weren't doing a good enough job where you were. It's just ridiculous, and it's such a great shame we lost people like Josh Frydenberg, but really and truly, how many seats for the Nationals would you rather have given up so the Liberal Party could win their seats? I wasn't going to give up any of my seats. I wasn't going to give up any of our seats. I was going to make sure they all got across the line. And that's one thing I'm happy about. My whole time as both deputy and leader, I never lost a seat.